Stalker is a game where everything can kill you, from deadly anomalies and dangerous mutants to anarchists and bandits. Every decision is a risk, any fight can end my run, and I decided to beat the entire game without dying on one save file. Let's begin. To make this challenge even harder, I have some rules that I have to follow for the entire run. You can pause and read them here if you want.
Good hunting, Stalker.
I start by talking to Wolf so that I can get my first main mission and get a knife and pistol, which will allow me to go around to all of the houses collecting resources. Most importantly, the mercenary suit that you can find by jumping onto this roof and knifing this box. As you can see, it gives me a great early advantage. Next, I went around the side of the trail and broke a box in this bush containing hundreds of pistol rounds. Then I snuck around the edge of the outpost using this fallen tree. I hopped up on this fence and used the outhouse to get into the hole in the roof, and from there I dropped down into this room where I shot this guy in the head and he didn't die. But can you guess who did? That's right, me. So, I collected my supplies and armor again, then I attacked the military patrol with just my pistol, and as you can see, it was very slow. Finally! I looted the patrol for weapons and ammo, then sold what I didn't need to Sidorovich. When I went back outside, I saw a counterattack group coming my way. They're sending the reinforcements. Naturally, I fought them off and used only my pistol so I can conserve my assault rifle ammo. Then I looted the bodies, sold what I didn't need, finished off the remaining soldiers, and attempted to infiltrate the outpost again. This time went a lot smoother because there were only a few enemies left. I won't showcase looting bodies or selling items to traders anymore unless it's worth showing. Just assume that after every fight I most likely looted everyone and sold it to a trader later on. Next, I met up with the stalkers and helped them take out the bandits and rescue their friend. In this basement, I found a level 2 health regen artifact. There are 3 levels total. I rescued the stalker and accepted a side quest from him to find a special bandit suit. Then I went to this location to retrieve it. In terms of stats, it's only better on bullet protection and worse on everything else, which is all I care about. Next, I went to the buildings near the bridge and collected some useful artifacts. Then I took out the soldiers at the military checkpoint. After that, I went up the hill and headed towards the stash near the train tunnel. Bro, this is crazy. All the dogs come out of nowhere. Bruh. After spending an hour redoing everything off screen, I made it here where I healed a wounded stalker who told me where to go next. After that, I went to the top of the map and into the next section. In the garbage, there's only a few things worth mentioning. I'll go through them one by one. First, I obtained tons of ammo from these 2 spots and found a stamina artifact on this stalker. Oh my gosh. Yes, please. Next, I helped the stalkers take out the bandits and I earned a reward. Then, I carefully obtained some level 2 health regen artifacts from this anomaly field. It seems like they're impossible to get because there's no safe zone that won't trigger the anomalies, but if you run through them in a specific path, you'll make it through. Next, I assisted the stalkers at the Bandit Base, and one of them told me to go to Agroprom for my next objective. I fought some more bandits outside of the Bandit Base around the train and the tunnel on my way to the next section. Agroprom can be categorized into 2 parts, the easy part and the run-killing part. First off, I had to save yet another stalker from something. After saving him, I was led to an underground facility where I fought some bandits. Next, I took a deadly shortcut through this hallway filled with electric anomalies. Don't try this at home. By doing this, it let me flank the military soldiers, making it a little easier to deal with them. It also despawned some tough mutants in this room, allowing me to get this artifact safely. Next, I went through the hole in the wall and up the ladder to a secret hideout where I found a stalker suit, some rifle ammo, a flash drive, and an artifact. I fought some more military on the stairs and around this doorway as I was leaving the facility. Ha! I'm already prepared for you. Suck it. And that brings me to the next location, part 2 of Agroprom.
That was very close, oh my gosh. But I missed like every shot.
And now I have to redo 2 hours worth of progress. So eventually I made it back and I tried to fight my way through the military base again. Let's see how it goes this time. I still died. On my third attempt, I camped inside the building and waited for them to come at me one by one. This worked a lot better and I managed to make it into the main building to collect the documents.
Marked one. I told Barkeep about you.
After I stole the documents, some reinforcements showed up. I carefully took them all out one at a time so that I could leave the base. There's only one enemy left. I hope he doesn't kill me. He killed me. Once I made it back, I went to the pond up north to collect this rare artifact. If I find 4 of them, they will have a secret ability. You'll see what it is later. If you're enjoying the video, don't forget to leave a like and comment your favorite moments. Subscribe for more high quality content. I'll be playing Stalker Clear Sky next.
Bro literally died as soon as I gave him a health pack.
Before I left Agroprom, I gathered some artifacts that I could sell later. After that, I head towards the exit where I eliminated some soldiers who were guarding it. And this is how the next section went.
Ugh, not again.
I was faced with a similar situation like before, except this time I was determined to survive.
What the freak was that? Almost lost my run right there.
Oh, but it's not over yet. That's right. After all of that, I still died. This is worse than Far Cry. Why did I decide to do this?
3 hours later.
Eventually, I made it to the duty checkpoint where I helped them take out some mutants so I could enter Rostock. Once there, I talked to Barkeep and the other stalkers for some missions, and I stored some supplies for later. Next, I went to the arena to get some quick cash. The strategy to always win is to jump up on top of these boxes and shoot your opponents from behind cover. After a few games, I left to go through the garbage into the Dark Valley for my next objective. In the Dark Valley, I meet a duty soldier interrogating a bandit who tells him that the bandits captured his friend. So, I help him free his partner by ambushing the bandits. Afterwards, I'm told that another dutier is being imprisoned in the Bandit Base. But before I go over there to free the dutier, I come over to this contraption to get a Mama's Bead artifact and a Spring artifact, which will be very useful. Now at the Bandit Base, I go through this window so that I'll have less bandits to fight on the inside. The Bandit Base went pretty smoothly and I didn't have many problems fighting the bandits themselves. I was able to take out everyone with mostly my shotgun. I almost died a few times because I was being reckless, but it never backfired.
I lied.
At this point, you understand that if I die, I have to restart the entire game, so I'm not going to mention it anymore. I end up basically redoing everything the exact same way whenever I die, since the game mostly has fixed placement of enemies and loot. After I took out the bandit leader, I went to the basement to free the dutier. After that, I left the Bandit Base to find the entrance to the secret lab. I stashed some items in this backpack so I could get it later. Then I fought some bandits at this abandoned complex. They were quite easy to deal with because they would just run out in front of me pointing their guns in the wrong direction, which made them easy targets. I wish all enemies were like that. Next, I went down the hallway to the secret underground lab into the next section. Nothing of interest happened here. I just killed some mutants such as Snorks, several poltergeists, and a pseudo-giant. I collected a stamina artifact that's always here, and collected the codes to open the vault doors. I'll show you a special trick you can do to skip a few things. If you move one of these crates over to this door, it won't be able to close behind you when you enter it. Then, if you collect the documents and leave without killing the pyrogeist, you'll skip a cutscene and prevent some enemies from spawning at the lab entrance where you have to leave. Back outside, I escaped from some military soldiers who tried to ambush me. I gathered my stuff from the backpack and headed to the Cordon to complete an objective and sell some loot. Then I returned to Rostock to sell the lab documents. After that, I looted the stash that contained a scientific suit, and I was off to the Wild Territory. In the Wild Territory, I normally have to fight a bunch of highly trained mercenaries who have better guns and better armor, but as luck would have it, these mercenaries were very easy to kill and I had almost no problems dealing with them whatsoever. Once I took out all the mercenaries, I carefully went through the anomalous tunnel and into the next section. After I looted the stash with a battery artifact, I talked to Sakharov, who directed me to escort the scientists to the measurement site. I fought off some zombie stalkers along the way there, and once we arrived, my sleeping pills suddenly kicked in. I woke up later to find the scientist hunched over on the ground, regretting that fuzzy cheese he ate for lunch. We returned to the bunker to report to Sakharov. Then I went off to disable the psi-field generator in the underground laboratory, filled with zombies and mutants. Laboratory X-16 went a lot differently than X-18 in the Dark Valley. I fought some zombies and mutants, which respectively took a while to kill and almost trapped me. I also died, having to redo hours of progress. Not once, but twice. The second time wasn't even an enemy, it was the game itself. I decided to take a break and came back the next day. I went down to X-16 and shut down the generator, found a controller, collected a unique stalker suit that gives minor health regeneration, and left through the tunnels. After fighting some snorks in the tunnel, I collected a really good stash for late game. It looks like things are really starting to turn up. After taking a long nature walk to clear my mind, I spent several hours of progress to regain everything yet again. I returned the lab documents to Barkeep and prepared for my next objective. I did some side missions to unlock some useful items, such as eliminating this stalker to receive another Mama's Beads artifact, and taking out these bloodsuckers for a third battery artifact. Afterwards, I went back to the Cordon to ask this stalker where to find someone. He basically told me to head to Agroprom, so I made my way over there. I took a detour and found this level 3 artifact, which is like a Mama's Beads, but requires a radiation reducing artifact to use safely. Back in Agroprom underground, I fought some new bandits who were hiding here, the bloodsuckers that I skipped last time with the deadly detour, and more military soldiers. Then when I climbed up the ladder, I got knocked out from a trap and woke up to see an old friend and learn the truth. Before I continue the main quest, I have to do some preparation first. I acquired a 4th battery artifact, which finally allowed me to access a secret power that will make this challenge a little easier. With 4 batteries, I'm not only immune to shock damage, but my health and armor actually gets healed over time. It even makes combat less deadly. I traded several artifacts, including my Night Star, so I could get a special suit from Sidorovich that increases my carry weight from 50 kilograms to 70 kilograms. In the Freedom base, I booked this box to get tons of free food for healing. After that, I went up to the border and helped Freedom fight off the Monolith, so there would be a safe path into the next section. Finally, I took another detour to stock up on ammo and revisited old areas to collect new artifacts that only spawn at a certain point. With all that done, I was ready to enter the next section. This is where the challenge gets really hard. In Radar, I must disable yet another psi-field generator, except this location has deadly Monolith soldiers instead of zombies. By the way, every time I finish a major section from this part of the game on up, I will immediately return to previous locations to restock on supplies and buy a perfect condition weapon. I'm not taking any chances. Along the road, I fought a couple of soldiers who I took out quickly by blowing up the explosive barrels. As I neared the base, several Monolith soldiers ambushed me from on top of the hill. I managed to take them all out, then carefully make my way through this corridor, eliminating the soldiers hiding behind the walls, allowing me to enter the next section. Laboratory X10 is one of a few locations where you have to fight dozens of enemies in tight spaces. Except for me, it's even worse, since I only had the starting assault rifle, relatively weak armor, no medical supplies, and I had to make it out in one attempt. I carefully moved through each room and every hallway, slowly taking out one enemy at a time, until I eventually made it out of the laboratory. Once I made it out of the lab, I went towards the road leading to the next area. There were Monolith soldiers guarding the road that I had to take out first. After that, I would enter one of the final sections of the game. Several days later, I made it back, and this time I remembered to re-equip my 20% bullet protection worth of artifacts and beat the Monolith. I repaired my armor in this fire using 4 other rare artifacts I collected, then I entered the next section. Finally in Pripyat, I only had one thing to do: loot stashes. The first was a rare stash that contained another Mama's Beads artifact, and the other inside this apartment contained the code to a secret facility. This was the most important one. After that, I geared up for the final location, the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. I had 2,800 rounds of ammo, 38 cans of food, 4 artifacts for fire immunity and healing, and 5 artifacts for stamina. Let's do this. As I'm sure you could guess, I was extremely mad about this. I get all the way to the end just to randomly die. Well, surely it won't happen twice. About a week went by before I finally made it all the way back to the Chernobyl nuclear power plant for the 3rd time. And this one is for real. I rushed past all the enemies along this wall so I could safely make it to the next section, the Sarcophagus. The Sarcophagus is a deadly facility filled with dozens of Monolith soldiers waiting for me to make a mistake and end my run. I needed to play smart to make it past this section. This first hallway is the toughest spot, because the soldiers group up around the hole in the wall, making it easy for them to kill me and difficult to kill them. I must slowly bait out each soldier one by one and carefully eliminate them before I can progress. After I take out enough of them, I'm able to safely move up to the hole in the wall and headshot the others. One great thing about this location is that most of the Monolith soldiers don't know you're here, so if you take them out in the dark before they see you or react, you'll remain undetected. The stairway is one such location where I can see them before they see me and easily take them out. Around this corner is a hidden ladder that takes me up to a corridor with a vault door at the end of it. I used my decoder to unlock the door and enter the next section before the Monolith soldiers teleporting behind me could attack. 30 enemies. 30 enemies. I have to kill 30 enemies with this ammo. This is the Monolith Control Center, and I must eliminate every single one of these enemies to safely progress. I used careful positioning to shoot at soldiers in between this pipe. It was quite useful, but sometimes they shot at me and almost ended my run. A lot of ammo was spent in this section because I often had to eliminate enemies at the ends of the hallways, and it would take a lot to kill them. After I defeated almost everyone, I collected some grenades off of their bodies, which I used to blow up the enemies in the next room. There were still some enemies left in the vault room, but I defeated them as well. I destroyed the power generators inside the room, which set things into chaos and led to a hologram talking to me and answering some of my questions. But we're not done yet. There was one last section to get through. The portal gauntlet. I held up in this fire, then did something unique. I cannot beat this challenge by going through every single portal. I've tested it in my trial runs, and it always ends in failure. So, I went off the trail and took this exact path to get to one of the last portals, which takes me here. Then I use my suit to get up here, then climb up and jump into the next portal. From there, I sprinted straight for the final portal, ignoring all the enemies teleporting in. I climbed up the ladder and entered the last portal. Almost there. Yeah! I'm more relieved than I am excited because that took forever. And there you have it. I beat STALKER Shadow of Chernobyl without dying on one save using only canonical equipment. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next video where I do a no-death run of Stalker Clear Sky. Прощайте, я дошно heute Stalkery.
Музыкант из тебя еще тот.
Классно играешь.
И что же оно за выжигатель такой? Правду о нем говорят? Или брешут?